Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Bit War Podcast Live. I'm your host, Brett Bates. Joined with me, as always, Andrew the Wink Winkleman
Howdy, howdy.
and Zachary Goins, a.k.a. Robo Zach,
AKA
Hi.
no camera.
a.k.a. No Camera.
I mean, it
'cause-
was either no camera and no robot or camera and robot.
Yeah.
I will sacrifice my looks for no robot.
Yeah, so we have his Xbox Live picture up there. So just
Wizard.
just the wizard, just as a place marker. Today's going to be a pretty quick episode. We're going to just give you where you can find Winks trivia questions since no one's guessed. We're going to post it on Twitter. Again, you can submit your guesses by tagging at BitWarGaming on Twitter or emailing us at bitwargaming@outlook.com. Zach is going to post that here shortly, probably right after the stream.
Yes,
For
sir.
those you want to guess. And the prize is a $10 gift card to any platform of your choice. Xbox Live Store, PlayStation Store, Nintendo Store, Steam, whatever. It'll be your call. So that's up for grabs for Winks Trivia. We're also going to talk about Titanfall 2, and they released all 6 Titans that you can unlock and use, as well as a new Star Wars game that has been rumored, and kind of who's writing, directing that. So we're going to take off from here. Titanfall 2, we played a little bit of the tech test and the open multiplayer beta. We kind of gave our thoughts about that as well. Anything else you guys want to add to that real quick before additional play tests that we got? Anything you guys want to add?
No, I pretty much said everything in our last talk about it.
Okay. Titanfall 1. Sorry, Zach, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. So the first Titanfall, and we kind of discussed this a little before the show. The first Titanfall we felt a little short, maybe because the next gen consoles hadn't taken off, and it was only available for Xbox One and PC. So maybe that was part of why it didn't do so well. Wink had the concern that it was really vanilla, not a lot of unlocks, not a lot of weapons, not a lot of customization. So what EA released and DICE, I guess it's not DICE, is it? No, it's Respawn Studios. What they released is that you have 6 Titans this time around to choose from. And I'm going to read the descriptions real quick, just so we get an idea. The first one is North Star. It's described as a sniper who can fly and master both flight and precision kills. The next one is Legion, which has an assortment of ballistic abilities focusing on defense and control. Number 3 is Ronin, up close and personal with its samurai vibe, which is like a melee weapon.
You see, that's the one they've shown in clips before.
Yeah.
That
The
one
big
looks
freaking
sweet.
sword.
Yep.
It looks really cool, but it also looks small. So you always wonder how much damage can it take.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be able to get close enough to use it?
Well, it says that it has a phase shift ability to give it a quick in and out style of gameplay. So it probably is a little squishy. It probably is like get in there, do some damage, and then
it
get
looked
the
like
heck
it could
out.
teleport, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So that one will be interesting. Number 4 is Tone. It's a efficiently explosive, is what it says. So I'm guessing just a lot of damage very quickly. Dish out a lot of damage. Probably won't be too accurate. Probably won't be too long range either.
Yeah, probably just a big old tank.
Yeah. The next one up is Ion. Uses energy management abilities to shift between 3 weapon systems. The video shows more, but we won't play the video for you. We'll let you guys look that up on your own.
I think that was the one in the beta.
Yes. Yeah, it was one of the ones in the beta.
Yeah.
It has a devastating laser core that melts anything in its way. Is the
Yeah,
description.
that part is fun. It shoots a giant It's like Iron Man shooting it, out of its chest.
Yeah.
A big laser.
But you
And it
really
does
have to be.
melts.
You have to be accurate though, because it's hard to once you start shooting it. You can't like just flip it around. It's like a little
It's
slow.
a slow moving laser beam.
Yep.
You have to, if you start hitting him right from the get go, you'll down any Titan. It's a beast.
So it's kind of like Zarya from Overwatch.
Yeah, which is a
Okay.
slow moving, just
That
plasma.
slow
ray.
moving. Okay, that's
Yep.
what I thought.
The last one is called Scorch, which manipulates fire as primary source of defensive and offensive abilities. That one was also available in the beta. So, do you guys think this is enough of a difference from the first one to kind of set it apart?
I mean, I don't know. I'll have to try it out first. Like the original was so bland. There was 3 Titans, very little unlockables, and very little things to make you want to come back and keep playing. There was no carrot at the end of the stick with that. And with Titans, you figure that would be where you could get the most unlockables because they're giant mechs. You figure there's a lot of creativity that can go in there with weapons and armor and ability and stuff like that. That kind of sounds like it's the other way around, where your pilot gets a lot of custom ability while
Yeah.
you get more Titans this time, but doesn't sound like there's a lot of stuff to it each Titan. So I mean, I can't freak out right now. I got to try them out first and see what the game actually is, but we'll see.
Yeah, because in the first Titanfall, you had 3 cores to choose from, and I think 5 or 6 weapons you could choose from, and then 1 defensive measure. I think, you had 1 defensive measure, but you could choose between 5 or 6 different options for that defensive measure.
Yeah,
there wasn't a whole lot of...
there's just one. It seemed like there was like 3 different assault rifles, and then 1 weapon in each other class, and then 3 Titans, a small, a medium, a big one. Each had a separate a different type of weapon, and that was pretty much it.
Very few customizations, and that was really part of its why it got old and stale real quick.
Yeah,
even with
definitely.
They didn't even release any DLC where it expanded upon that either. Just kind of what it came with is what
they
it
released
got.
new maps and stuff,
Yeah.
and I think a new game type. I'm not 100% sure.
Yep.
But yeah, there was no new weapons, no new Titans, nothing like that.
No, you couldn't customize anything. No new pilot weapons, nothing.
Dang.
Which was the most ironic thing ever, since it was the first major online only game, and it turns out to be the most bland, shallow online game ever.
Yeah.
I thought that was so ironic. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of people are hoping that this game exceeds the first Titanfall in every single way by a huge margin. So far, I don't think that it will, but
we'll see.
Still have a little over a month before it's released, so you never know what they're going to pull out before.
You figure if this one doesn't fix, or at least come close to fixing all the issues of the first one, there probably won't be a Titanfall 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, everyone bought into the hype train. It got really good, like on all the testing and stuff at conventions. Everyone loved it because it really was fun in short periods of time when you first started. It was a lot of fun, but then it didn't take long for it to really die down. So if they don't improve on the expandability and stuff like that, I can't imagine they it will die down even faster than the first one, I think.
I think that this one has done a really good job of like trying to, I mean, they're pretty much trying to persuade players that this game is going to be good, and I think they've done a really good job of doing that, like of showing everything that they've changed, doing the beta. One of the guys I know from Monroe, who I used to work kind of with, he got invited out to E3 to actually play the beta for Titanfall. So like he was a pro Titanfall player, and they had them go out and like test it and talk about what they wanted and all this stuff. So I think it's really impressive that they're focusing more on like what exactly we want as players and what exactly they need to do as the makers of the game. Like I haven't seen, like the only other company that I've seen take this much effort into making a game good is like Bungie with Destiny, where they're listening to the community and actually trying to make the game better for us as the players. So I don't know. I'm pretty pumped. I think it's going to be a good game. But if within like the first week there are a lot of problems, it's not going to take off.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have ever. I guess let me start this way. I'm a Ed Sheeran fan. Music. I don't know if you guys ever listen to Ed Sheeran music.
Are you?
Yeah. Closet, not anymore closet. But I'm an Ed Sheeran fan. I like his music. So I watched his documentary on his second album. And what he said was, your first album almost always is a success because it's new. People have never heard of you. And they like your style of music. It's always different than the next person. So first album is not hard to succeed. It's your sophomore album. People have already got established to kind of what you are, what kind of music you put out, and now your sophomore album is what makes or breaks you, is basically how he put it. And this, I think, is what for Respawn Studios it is. This is their sophomore game. The first one had its success because of it was unique. It was a first of its kind. Being able to jump in from your pilot to your Titan, back and forth. The really multifaceted gameplay. Even though it was online only, it was very unique, very different.
Yeah, I think the parkour system was original. Yes. I don't think Call of Duty had that quite yet.
No.
I think Titanfall was the first one.
Yep. And so it was very unique. But now this time, people know what Titanfall is about. They know what it is. Can they be different enough with their second game to make it? Because like you said, Wink, if this fails, I don't think there'll be a Titanfall 3. People won't put up with it. 2 failed games in a row, 2 letdowns. It just won't happen.
I mean, even especially with... It's an EA game, right?
Well, EA publishes it, but Respawn is the creator, the studio.
EA has a track record of just not being that good. I mean, like they do good games, but like their support for the players is just never good. So there's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys saw the tweet from EA's CEO, but someone asked, how do you respond to being voted the worst company in the world 3 years in a row? And he said, well, he's like, in honesty, you say, it can't be true. People are just too sensitive. He said, but then I took a step back and said, what if this is true? What can we do to change that perception? People obviously are voting this way for a reason. So he's like, so we're looking into it. That's all I can tell you, is what his tweet said.
Wow.
Then they come out with another game with, $200 collectible that only has certain things you can only get, and all the microtransactions everywhere, and it's all those little money grab things that's made them the most hated studio. I don't see them ever changing that.
Yeah, it'll be. You never want to say it's too late for change to happen, but I think with EA, unless they have a top-down restructuring of the company, I don't see it changing anytime soon, anyways. So that's why I really want to buy all these sports games, but I don't want to support EA too much. So it's a big struggle for me.
Buy secondhand, then you don't have to worry about EA getting any more money.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Just buy used, right? Wait till it's $10 the next year comes out.
Yeah,
trade this.
That's always $10. It's always a struggle. I mean, I love EA because I like their games, but I completely understand it's hard.
Yeah.
They were smart when they first got started and bought the licenses to all the major sports games, and then because they realized before anyone else that sports fans are psychos and will buy their games every year, no matter how little of difference there is, minus the roster changes. So I mean, whatever. Kudos to them. They were smart business people early on.
Yeah, absolutely. About that, whatever. Well, about Titanfall 2 though. I want this to succeed. Doesn't look like they've made enough changes for me to think they will. But launch date is October 20th, 28th.
Yep,
28th.
28th.
Yep.
So we'll see.
This is a wait and see video game 100%. It's always been that way from the get go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Titanfall's potential quite a bit, but I gotta see it to believe it especially before I drop $60 on a game. So
yeah, absolutely agreed. So moving on to our next and last topic, Star Wars games. In all honesty, what is the last really great Star Wars games that you guys remember playing?
I mentioned this earlier. I think Knights of the Old Republic, which console was that on?
It was Xbox, original Xbox and PC. Yeah.
I think that's the only one I can remember ever enjoying. Like every other Star Wars game off the top of my head never was, wasn't really good. Unless I think Lego Star Wars was a pretty good because I like those Lego Star Wars games aren't much to them, but they always were enjoyable.
Yeah.
So if you accept what the Lego games are, I guess you could put that Star Wars game in that category of at least being solid.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? What was the last great Star Wars game you can remember playing?
The last great one was it was probably the first Battlefield.
Okay. See, and I think I would. You mean Battlefront, right?
Battlefront.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Battlefront. Yep. I mean, Battlefront 2 was cool, and I remember playing that one like. I remember playing Battlefront 2 a ton.
Yeah.
But Battlefront 1 was like the first Lego Star Wars game I actually got into, and so I was like, oh, I was pretty happy with this one.
Yeah, the first Battlefront, it was strictly ground battles, and then in Battlefront 2 they added you could fight inside like your main ship, and also hop into a fighter,
Yeah.
and then have dog fights outside of that. So
Yep.
I played that one far more than I played the first Battlefront. So I would say Battlefront 2, Knights of the Old Republic, and then Jedi Academy are really the only three. And Jedi Academy was a third person. It was all Jedi. You were Sith and light side, and it was all lightsaber duels. Pretty much the whole game. But
It's kind of cool.
it was cool because you could choose between having a single lightsaber, dual lightsabers, or the staff. Because it came out right after the Phantom Menace. So they threw in the
nice.
staff lightsaber.
Yeah.
So it was 2000, right? As a long time ago, 15 years. It was cool because you could do private matches. I think it was 4-on-4, and so it was just four people. You picked your different class with whatever lightsaber you wanted and color, and then you just had at it. It was just a free for all. And you could like guard, attack, whatever. That was probably the funnest one that I played. But besides the old school like TIE Fighter and X-Wing games, like MS DOS, Star Wars games have generally been a flop. They've just been Star Wars fans buy them because it's Star Wars, but there's not a lot to them. Especially the most recent Battlefront. Graphically, it was so good.
Oh yeah.
But just not a lot of depth. Just not.
I have a problem with people saying the new game was bad, because if you wanted a true to Star Wars feel, sound, look, gameplay, it was really, really close. Like,
well, I mean, production value and graphics off the chart.
Oh,
but
yeah.
as a
Like,
game, the depth of it was just.
The depth of it was very low. I agree with you on that one. But I don't want to say that it was I don't want to say it's a bad game. Like, the depth of it could have some work. If they brought out some DLC that had like some story modes to it, completely it would go up. It's an EA game. DLC doesn't surprise me. Don't think they'll do that, but like it's crazy to me to think that like the one little thing, like just DLC or just a story, would have made that much of a difference is pretty crazy. Like, that game was, I had so much fun playing that game. I still have it. Like, I just don't want to play it because I'm probably super low.
Well, the thing is, every other Star Wars game has a story. Even the old TIE Fighter games had a story, and this one was just you just pick a battle location, and you go. You just pick a side, pick a location, and you just shoot.
Yeah. I just don't understand how, like, okay, so EA published it, EA made this one. How the heck do you not understand that like just multiplayer games don't work?
Well, there's plenty of multiplayer only games that seem to work. Yeah,
Overwatch is huge.
It's a huge one. I mean, Destiny is pretty much straight up multiplayer at this point. So, I mean,
but if you think about it, like, Destiny still had a little bit of a story. Granted, it wasn't
from the
good
beginning
story.
Yeah, but you barely play it. Most people don't play Destiny alone. They always play in a group of 2 or 3.
And I would agree with you about Overwatch, but Overwatch has this crazy unicorn part of it where it's like, it's Blizzard, and they just know how to make the games the right way. Like, even now in Season 2, they fixed it. Like, they made it a little bit better. They did the ranking system like Halo does, and that actually made me want to play it again, because the other time I was like right in the middle. I was always 50, never went up, never went down. With this one, I like that.
Here's the thing, though. With Overwatch, there is crazy amount of unlockables, and they're adding unlockables all the time. And if you get the highest ranks and you're competitive, you get golden versions of the guns for certain characters. That's true. Star Wars: A New Battlefront was like that?
Plus, there wasn't much. If I remember right, there's very few guns. and all you really
Yeah.
went for was to be the chance to be one of the super guys, with Darth Vader and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that always ended up being short lived. Like there was really not much to it for how like when that game originally came out, the 4K renderings, like the screenshots and stuff like that, were
Oh my
really
gosh.
good looking.
Yeah.
They were amazing, and then the sound, the audio was also on point.
Yeah.
That was visually and audibly impressive.
Yeah.
Just the rest of it wasn't. The rest of it was extremely disappointing. And to me, that wasn't a $60 game.
No.
That's more of a $30 game.
Yeah.
I bought it for $30, and so I felt like I was completely justified in my purchase.
I could say that's fair.
Well, I bought Battlefield or Battlefront and the new Call of Duty both for $30 at GameStop for like some deal they had. Returned the Call of Duty like 2 days later.
Nice. So, on the topic of Star Wars, why I brought up why Star Wars games typically are not that great is because there's a new one in the works by the developer of Dead Space, Visceral Games.
Very good. Very good studio.
Yes.
Dead Space. Those Dead Space games, I feel like
On point.
Yeah, I feel like those are like probably the most underappreciated series.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that like the Dead Space games were what I never played 2. I played the original.
Mhm.
But that is like a true don't get me wrong, it has some issues with it, but that was like the original or like a true survival horror. That was exactly what I hoped Alien Isolation would be. And it didn't quite live up to that, but yeah, that studio does great work. I don't know.
Yep.
Have they ever done it? Like, were they a new studio that started Dead Space, or have they done other things? I don't know.
I think they did things in the past, but Dead Space was kind of their breaking through
Okay.
out of indie.
Those games are outstanding, especially now that there's backwards compatibility on Xbox. I suggest if you haven't played those games, you need to. Seriously, those games are great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guess who it was made by?
Visceral. Oh, it was EA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well, EA owns a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't make it.
They
EA
publish it.
Visceral
different.
Games were the developers. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing that in the game studio, you have a developer and you have a publisher. So your development studio makes the game, everything content-wise, and then the publisher usually is the marketing.
Yeah.
You know,
'Cause they buy these studios because they know that they could probably make a good game for them, and then in turn the publisher can make money off of it.
Yeah. Yep.
And usually they're the ones in charge of adding the DLC and then the extra, the microtransactions and stuff like that. Usually that's not up to the studio.
This Visceral Games has a fantastic track record of
Yeah.
games.
Absolutely.
So just really quick, so that the listeners understand what they do. I don't know what a couple of these are, but most of them I do. Future Cop, LAPD, 007, Agent Under Fire, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, 007, Everything or Nothing, Lord of the Rings, Third Age, 007, From Russia with Love, The Godfather game, The Simpsons game, Dead Space, Godfather 2, Dead Space Extinction, Dante's Inferno, Dead Space 2 and 3, Battlefield 3, The End Game, so that's an expansion, Army of Two, which was a sweet game, Battlefield Hardline, and then the next game they're making is the Star Wars one. Estimated 2017.
Yeah.
That's a pretty darn good track record.
Yeah. So
Those Godfather games are pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So at PAX, PAX West, which was just a week ago, I think. What's her name? I'm trying to see.
Amy Hennig.
Yes, Amy Hennig was interviewed because she had recently. Well, I guess it's been when you said a couple years ago.
It's been a while now. It's not something recent.
She left Naughty Dog, which has an enormous track record for production quality and story quality. She was a huge writer and director of which Uncharted games were 1, 2, and 3. Did she help with? Yeah, the first 3. Did she help with the fourth at all?
When she left, and they had to scrap everything she did and start from scratch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so she wrote and directed all 4, but then the 4 got scrapped.
Yeah.
She is writing and directing this new Star Wars games with Visceral Studios. So she got interviewed by someone. She said this is going to be an all original story with some of the new characters from the new movie. she was kind of tight-lipped. This article says didn't really say a whole lot. They did release a screenshot, which I want to see if I can share this with you guys. I don't know if it'll go full screen or not. It doesn't look like it will, but we're still gonna show it. So here's the screenshot. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's not very large, but it looks pretty good. You see the distance rendering of the Star Destroyer in the sky, 2 Star Destroyers in the sky. It kind of looks like a Tatooine-ish planet with a droid there. It's clearly third person. I mean, this looks good. It says, early in-game footage, so it still looks. I mean, it looks pretty good. I'm kind of pumped for it. I don't know anything about it. No one knows really anything about it, except it's going to be a Star Wars game. But because of who is directing and writing the story, though, that's huge. What do you guys think about this? Who is directing it, and it being a Star Wars game, it potentially could be a knockout.
Heck yeah. Especially since it's an original story. Combine that with with Amy Hennig, and you could have a monster on your hands. I would love a story-rich Star Wars game.
Yep.
It's way, you don't know anything about it, other than that screenshot and then who's involved. So you can't. It's hard to jump to any conclusions, but it's hard not to get optimistic by who's in charge of everything with this. I'm very excited. I hope. And there's some. I think Zach said 2017. With how little they've shown, I would be shocked if it really is a 2017 game. Usually, you would assume that if it was, a 2017 game, even like a holiday 2017 game, you would have some sort of trailer and or more content to talk about.
Yeah.
Because not every studio is like who made Fallout.
Bethesda.
Yeah, not every studio is Bethesda, and they wait and then just drop it a month in advance, and then everyone goes nuts.
Yeah.
Especially with this being a new IP, I would assume they would want, even with it being Star Wars, they would want some hype, some momentum to build, and I think it's probably a 2018 game. But go ahead, Zach.
I think either 2018 or quarter end of 2017.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see them.
Agree, though.
I would like to see them keep it tight-lipped as possible until E3 2017 and just blow the doors off.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I would like if we heard nothing else from about this E3 2017. They just drop this, unannounced. No one knows they're going to be there. Just trailer out of nowhere, like an RKO out of nowhere. I think that would be awesome. And I really want a great Star Wars game. I really thought that The Force Awakens, I really thought that was going to be this awesome Star Wars game. And take the abilities out of it that I thought were kind of cool, where you could do the Jawa punt, my favorite thing to do. You force grab a Jawa and you literally force kick it and it goes flying. Besides the ability trees, which I thought were pretty awesome in both Force Awakens and Force Awakens 2, they really weren't. They weren't the game that I really wanted from Star Wars. So I really hope that this is it. And then also at the end of this article, they announced that DICE is working with Motive under EA for Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is probably going to be a 2017-2018 release. But I don't have much hope for that, to be honest.
Especially if that's 2017 game, I'd be surprised to have 2 Star Wars games, released in the same window. That'd be surprising.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I mean Battlefront they didn't handle the first one very well, and so
I think it's going to be a lot like Titanfall. Even with it being Star Wars, that if it's not a vast improvement, I don't see them making a third one.
Yeah, agreed. So really hopeful on that one. If we get any more information from that, we will certainly bring it to you. You guys have anything else before we call it a show?
I can give a really, really beginning report on the new Fallout DLC if you want me to.
Yeah. Hit us with it.
So, I kind of started last week saying that the Fallout DLC was pretty cool. There was a beginning part that really threw me for a spin. It was really hard, but since then I've not played. I've gotten past like the first main mission, first 2 or 3 main missions. I'm kind of on the 4th or 5th now. I don't feel like I'm getting to the end at all, but it's just not. The enemies that I've been facing haven't been what I thought they were. Now, I don't know if that's any inclination to the rest of the game. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, Zach's going to give it a bad score, but I'm just not impressed so far. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a Fallout. It doesn't seem like the same, Fallout game that I played and loved the first time around. So, I hope it changes. I hope it gets better. But we'll definitely see,
Yeah, and is this the final DLC for Fallout 4?
Man, Brett's been in Kentucky for too long.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Okay. So maybe they'll throw some patches. Who knows? But it probably won't see a major content change in that DLC then. Yeah, all right. Well, it sucks that it wasn't a better report, but at least it's
like
decent.
I said, hopefully it'll pick up. I was playing a little bit earlier today, and it was getting better, but it was still just kind of like, man, why am I facing this? Like where's the big change? Where's the big difference? Because like the beginning, I was really impressed. Like I said, I felt like it had something good going, and then they gave me a ton of options, and I was like, this is like way too many options are going on right now. So, hopefully I'll have a good report next time. Hopefully I'll beat it by next time. But man, Halo and Overwatch got me hook, line, and sinker right now. Both of them are super fun.
Yeah, agreed. So in closing, I just wanted to throw out another reminder. Bitwar Gaming is participating in Extra Life this year. It is November 5th. I think I said December last time, but it is November 5th. It's a Saturday. We are going to be streaming the 24 hours that day. So come 12 o'clock Friday night, Saturday morning on the 5th, we're going to be streaming 24 hours until 12 o'clock on the 6th. So we haven't decided a streaming schedule yet. Winks, he likes sleep a lot. So
I gotta work.
and he has to work.
I took the day off.
He could quit, but he won't. So
I think we also need to mention. I also think we need to mention like this is going for a really good cause. It's not just us sitting down in our butts, playing video games for the heck of it. We're actually raising money for a children's hospital in Kentucky.
Yes. Yep. Cosair Children's Hospital.
Yeah. So I mean, yes, you'll be watching us goof off and have fun, but we're doing it for more than just kind of for Bitwar Gaming. It's for everybody. It's for a lot of kids, and it's for a good cause. And we're really trying to do something right with this. So and we appreciate it.
100% of everything that you donate goes to them that day in that 24-hour period. Our goal is $500 for that day, but 100% of everything that we get donated that day will go to them, because we'll have a special donate button on our Twitch stream that you can go to. You click to it. You can donate. You can donate early if you want to. We'll publish all the information on our website as well as Twitter where you can donate. But 100% of everything donated that day goes to Cosair Children's Hospital.
Yep.
And that's for any juvenile disease research, not just cancer. It's anything that affects children as a disease. So it'll go to help them research that. So please join us with that. Help us reach that $500 goal. And we'll enjoy streaming for 24 hours, and we'll need a week to recuperate because we're starting to become old men. At least me and Wink are getting up there. So anyways, for Zach Goins and Andrew Winkleman and myself, Brett Bates, this has been Bitwar Podcast. Thanks for joining us, and have a good week.
Peace.
See ya.